Do you ever get those moments of anxiety of when you're forced to talk to people for an important reason you can't avoid? Most of the time for me, it would be talking to old relatives that have seen me as a baby, or maybe even asking my math teacher about a problem which may come off as stupid to others. Now, I mention this idea because of this stupid incident that could have been avoided that occurred to me when I was 11. After my elementary days had gone by, my parents had decided to move out to a new house due to housing issues. Being a grim little fat 11-year-old boy and only worrying about when lunch or dinner would be ready and if it would contain the literal worst vegetables on earth, which was okra, and still to this day, I couldn't have cared less anything about this housing situation I was in. Settling in my new house, I was soon to realize that I was in walking distance of my new middle school. Knowing this, I had to wake up a little earlier in the morning to give myself time to walk to school. And on that first day of school, I managed to oversleep. Rushing through my morning procedures, I grabbed my skateboard and bolted through that front door and headed down to school. Looking back at it on that first day of school, it wasn't anything too special. Just a casual day to learn what my classes were, who were my classmates, and overall like the syllabus of the class. Heading back from school, like from any other day from elementary school, my main priority was to quickly head on those video games. Closing up to that front door, I quickly pulled out my house key to open the door, and I'm soon to realize that something had been going on. My mom, dad, and aunt were discussing the disappearance of my 6-year-old dog named Jagger. My mother was explaining to my dad and aunt that she hasn't seen him since the time I left this morning, which was very odd. Knowing this, I quickly retraced my steps to soon realize that I had forgot to grab my skateboard on the way to school, and that had to be an answer to his disappearance. I quickly told my parents about what had happened this morning, and they quickly told me to ask my neighbors in the neighborhood if they had seen the dog. Knowing that I wasn't too good at socializing at others made me realize this was a difficult task. Being an introverted boy whose only worries were eat food and play video games share no relation to the situation I put us with. Realizing I needed to atone for the situation, I talked to my neighbors the entire day. Knocking on their door and giving them a clear description of what my dog looked like was difficult at first, but soon I realized that it was easier than I thought. That day, as I walked back home with a distraught face, thinking to myself what my parents would do if we couldn't find Jagger saddened me. But as I saw my mom pull into my garage with her SUV, she quickly opened the passenger side door with Jagger pouncing on me and licking my face.